everyone, my name is Amanda and I'm the Fun Size Reader, and today I want to talk about Every Summer After by Carley Fortune. I'm sure you have seen this all over social media. I know I have. Everybody seems to be reading this book for summer, so I literally saw it. I was like, there's got to be something going on with this book. It's super, super hyped, so I ordered it. I started reading it and I got like 30 pages and I was exhausted. I fell asleep. The next day, I didn't start reading it until I went to bed, thinking I was gonna, make a dent. I didn't stop reading it until the next morning when I finished it. I literally pulled an all-nighter. I read it all night long. I finished it in one sitting. It was done. And I just feel like for me, the hype for this book was very, very real. There are a lot of people that absolutely loved it, and there are some that I've had reach out to me that typically have like very similar book tastes with me that said that they didn't think the hype was real. They didn't really like it. For me, it was a 5 stars, but there were some things about it that just rubbed me the wrong way. But I was so obsessed with reading it and read it so straight through that like the emotions that I got from this book was nothing other than a 5-star book. Spice rating for this book was fairly low. I gave it a 2 because it fit my scale at a 2. But this was a very slow burn. And the slow burn fit with the premise of the book. And just like, it just fit. It was right. Like, I didn't want any more. I didn't want any less. I felt like it was a perfect amount for the story. Short synopsis of Every Summer After. So this is a second chance romance, and it is set in the summertime at a lake house with a girl named Percy. Persephone is her real name, and a boy named Sam. And basically they become neighbors. He lives there at the lake full time. She visits during the summer. And it's an alternating timeline book, which is not usually my favorite. But sometimes in these second chance romances, they do really, really well. And it just works for the story. That was the case for this. I don't think it could have been done any other way. So they meet when they're young and they kind of develop this love for each other over time, but something happens that prevents them from being together. We don't know what that is. And in the current timeline, they kind of get thrown back together into a meeting for a weekend where they have to decide if they want to see if they can work things out. I don't want to do a spoiler section. Well, okay, I take that back. There will be a spoiler section for this because I think there's one thing in the whole book that I have to talk about that bothered me, but it's a big reveal. So I'm not going to talk about that in like the general review that I want to give. But this book made me feel so many emotions. I have not read through a book overnight in a very long time. I just couldn't stop reading it. The way that it was written, the way that she just pulled the feels from me, Carley is an automatic. She's an auto-buy author for me now because of the way that this book made me feel. I understand why some people say that it didn't live up to the hype for them, but for me, it for sure did. I loved it. I recommended it to one of my good friends to read, and she blew through it. She's already finished with it. She was like, you are 100% right. So like, I feel like it has to hit the right person. It isn't for everybody, and I understand that. And I know that the piece that I found that I didn't really like from the book is why some people have a big problem with it. And I completely understand that. But I felt like the emotions that I had and my desire and drive to read the whole rest of the book and like my literal physical addiction to it for 24 hours overrode my dislike of the one thing that people are getting hung up on. So if you want to take this 24-hour dive, I will put the link for the book down in the description and you can check it out, and please let me know if you loved it as much as I did, because I just feel like I just needed to talk about it with people. Like, it was so good. I loved it so much. But I will talk about the one spoiler thing that I wanted to say now. So if you haven't read the book, I don't want to spoil the big reveal for you. I have been so honest in the past of hating the cheating theme in books. And I was really disappointed that cheating was the big reveal. Like, I knew it was coming. And I had a feeling it was going to be with the brother. Like, that was set up the whole time. But the problem that I had with it was that she and Sam had never had sex, and she jumped right into sex with his brother. And I thought it could have been toned down to match Percy's experience and everything else that happened in the book. I think having her have sex with the brother was really way too much. I thought it should have been like kissing, heavy makeout, whatever the case, but like, I don't think it should have been that far. That was my biggest like, I didn't like that it was that. I knew the cheating was coming. I knew it was going to be with the brother. Like, you called all of these things throughout reading it, but I just wish it hadn't have been that. I think that didn't sit well with me for what the rest of the story was and how beautiful all the rest of the story was. I was like, I wouldn't just forgive her if that were the case, like Sam did. Like, I get it. I totally get that their love was over 6 years, and it was just like his dad and his mom that knew that they loved each other from the time they were little kids. Like, I get all of that, and it was the parallel of those two relationships, and that like anything will overcome that love. But I just thought that was too much for where Percy was at that time and for the relationship that she had with the brother. Like, I don't know. That part didn't sit right. But I didn't think that all of the rest of the emotions that I had pushed it to being anything less than a 5-star, even though I didn't like that piece. I get why people say that it didn't live up to the hype because of that, but it was still pretty hyped in my book. I hope you read and love Every Summer After just like I did. And if you did already read it, like, tell me your thoughts. Tell me if you thought it was hyped up. Tell me if you didn't think it's been hyped up enough. Let me know if there's anything else that's similar that you've read that I would like this. Don't forget, you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at The Fun Size Reader. See you guys next time.